Hello everyone, and welcome to Success Search. For this video, I will give an overview of another insightful book on leadership called Act Like a Leader, Think Like a Leader. If you are interested in stepping up to leadership in your personal or professional life, then please dive into this video with me. So, who wrote this book, and what is it about? It was written by Herminia Ibarra, who was a professor of leadership and learning at INSEAD, a leading international school of business. For years, she coached aspiring managers and executives in their business fields. But she also took the time to research and gather stories from her school's alumni, business executives, and inspirational leaders. What she discovered from her studies challenges the concept of how we step up as leaders traditionally. With help from the Harvard Business Review Press, she was able to spread word on what it takes to be a leader. When becoming a leader, our traditional rule of thumb is for us to think before we act. We've been taught to change ourselves from the inside out by changing the way we think. Then we can move on to act and become a leader. However, Herminia argued that this is counterproductive because we tend to overanalyze and not take action quickly if we take the time to think first. According to her, the way leadership really works is by changing what we do so that our actions can quickly solve problems, help us change the way we think, and become better leaders. In other words, you start by taking action. The proactive actions you make will invite new experiences that will morph you into a leader. Herminia's challenge to the traditional leadership process is based on her principle called the outside principle. Outside refers to changing from the outside in. If we put ourselves into new experiences, those experiences will refine and motivate us to think like a leader. All it takes for us is to act, since outside comes from action. And the ways to act are to redefine your job, redefine your network, and redefine yourself. Thus, the outside principle is all about becoming a leader from the outside in. The first outside action you can take is redefining your job. For those of you who have a job, especially in managerial positions, you may feel like that your leadership capabilities depends on focusing on your department and doing everything according to your duties. Being successful in your position may be a good feeling. However, it can create competency traps in which the more competent you are in your position, the less you invest in learning other things that are also important to your area. For example, if you work as a CFO, you would be solely focused on your duties, such as making decisions based on financial outcomes. However, focusing on your duties as a CFO prevents you from learning other areas of business, such as marketing, that would help you identify problems or solutions to your business's financial health. So to act as a leader, you must explore outside of your job. You can bridge across people and groups outside your area of expertise. You can also envision new possibilities, engage people in the change process, and embody the change. Furthermore, to expand your leadership, you should do more than your routine assignments, regardless of what kind of job you have. You need to become aware of situations outside your work area. You should also get involved in outside projects or extracurricular activities to expand your experience. During that time, you should also communicate your personal why behind your motivations to others so that they will see you as a motivational leader. To accommodate all that, you need to reorganize and add more to your schedule. Now, all this may be beyond your comfort zone and inconvenient, but redefining your job and getting yourself out of your comfort zone is an action worth taking in order to become a leader. Another outside action you can take is redefining your network. Of course, we are comfortable with the people we love and those we work with. However, sticking with your current network limits your possibilities as a leader. By making new friends and connections in your personal and professional life, you create new possibilities, broaden your knowledge, and even find help from others to solve your problems. So, as an act of leadership, you need to network outside of your organization or social bubble. However, we are often hesitant to network with other people because we are shameful to use others for our own benefits. You may think that it takes the right timing and organic connection to make networking less dirty. But that kind of mindset is a trap we should avoid, according to Herminia. We don't have to be shameful in networking with others if we have good intentions. People will understand your good intentions down the line. Because of that, we should not leave things to chance and natural chemistry in order to win favors from others. Most of all, making weak ties with anyone can make a difference. With that in mind, you also need operational, personal, and strategic networks to develop personally and professionally, get things done, and step up to leadership. For operational, you need to connect with your coworkers to get things done efficiently. For personal, you should connect with your loved ones and new friends to grow personally. For strategic, you need to connect with others who would help you advance and reach your end goals as a leader. Furthermore, network advantage is a function of your breadth, meaning strong relationships with a diverse range of contacts, connectivity, meaning the capacity to link or bridge across people and groups, and dynamism, which is a dynamic set of extended ties that evolves as you evolve. With the three elements, you'll have an advantage in creating and growing your network for your leadership purposes. And finally, you can improve your strategic network from your current network's periphery, meaning friends of your friends. If your network is not broad and strategic enough, you can reach out to others referred by your current network. This is similar to how you can reach out to others on Facebook who know your current friends. The final outside action you can take is redefining yourself. Herminia challenges the idea that being a good leader means always being true to yourself. She contrasts the idea of being a chameleon, someone who adapts and evolves, with being rigidly true to self, which can actually hold us back. She also introduces the concept of authenticity traps, the idea that if we only act in ways that feel comfortable or familiar, we may avoid the very situations that help us grow. Instead, Herminium encourages us to experiment with new behaviors. Our identity should be a blend of our past experiences and our future possibilities. That mindset opens us up to change. For example, an introvert who becomes a team lead might feel uncomfortable speaking up in meetings or networking with others. But rather than saying, "That's just not me," they can experiment. Maybe by preparing talking points in advance, initiating small conversations, or practicing speaking in front of a mirror. Over time, they may not become a classic extrovert, but they can become someone who confidently engages when needed. That's the kind of growth Herminia is talking about. She also suggests being more playful with ourselves, to steal like an artist, borrow from others' successful behaviors, and shape them in our own style. The goal isn't to fake it, it's to learn and grow. And she reminds us, don't always stick to your old stories. The narratives we tell ourselves, like, I'm just shy, or I'm not a leader, can hold us back more than reality does. But here's my little critique. While it's important to stretch and adapt, we also need to remember who we are. Growth should build on our values, not erase them. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the strongest, most capable version of ourselves. Now it's time to step up to leadership. By applying the outside principle, stepping up to leadership is not an event. It is a process. Also, it's not a perfect process as well. As you can see in the image here from the book, you can imagine how stepping up to leadership is a steady and perfect process in the left graph, or a miraculous event in the middle graph, described here. However, the third graph accurately describes the process of leadership, in which you would face waves of progress and failures. But in time, you progress to become a better leader than when you started out. Furthermore, when we want to become leaders, we often aspire to become our ideal self as a leader in the future state. But in reality, our future state of leadership is unknown and changes from our intended state as we change. So we must be flexible in our transition state as we face fluctuations. But no matter what future state we may reach, the transition process is all about escaping our odd self, which is what important people in your life think you ought to be. As you go through the transition process with the outside principle, you will face 5 stages. One is disconfirmation, in which you feel the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and you feel the increased urgency to spur first action steps. The second stage is simple addition, in which you add new roles and behaviors and you increase your outside. The third is complication, in which you face setbacks, you face exhaustion from making time for both old and new behaviors, and you face opposition from others. The fourth stage is course correction, in which you face frustrations that raise bitter career questions and reflection on new experiences to re-examine old goals and make new ones. And the final stage is internalization, in which you face changes that stick because they are motivated by your new identity and express who you have become. By climbing those steps and focusing on becoming a better leader, you will become an inspirational leader you dreamed of. So when's a good time to start? The answer is now. If you have a desire to help people or your organization, you can start becoming a leader now. Apply the outside principle by redefining your job, network, and self. When stepping up, don't think too much, just do. Also, choose to be a leader when problems arise and when the organization is unclear. It's up to you to make a change. As you do this, you should go beyond the expectations of others including your supervisors. That way, others will see you as a leader they hoped for. So with that, thank you for watching. Go on out there and try out the outside principle for yourself. Become the best leader as you can. Keep on searching for success.